Kalimera, kalispera, kalinichta. No matter where in this wild, wacky, and sometimes wonderful world you might be, thank you for making the Highbury Squad part of your day. What a week it has been. Let's just get into it, shall we? The Los Angeles Chronicles and the Arsenal made a signing. Let's rock and roll, squaddies.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
Good evening, my little cherubs, my squaddies. How are you? Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Hope you are all in epic form and the summer is treating you as it should be, like the kings and queens you are. Hello, welcome to Squad Central. Thank you so much for joining. Those listening on replay, summer hours, bit weird. Thank you also for joining. Don't forget to leave your comments in the YouTube section. And don't forget to give us a like, because apparently it helps the channel. That's what they say. I mean, if that's what they say, then let's just do what they say. By the way, at ease. Gotta keep it going, people. We got to keep it going. There's no doubt that Super Kev came up quite a lot in the week, and I'll let you know about that as well. Our Chief Like Officer in the house, Tammy, she's going to keep her eye on you. Magic is in the house. He'll be joining us in a few minutes to give you guys a little debrief as well on some stuff that happened in Los Angeles. He's currently in Philadelphia, where there was a huge day today. I tell you, if you're an Arsenal America fan, today was the day. It was monstrous. And we're going to talk about that just a little bit. We've got PW in the house. Carol's here. Trev is in the house. Good evening to each and every one of you. It's my life. Is it on? What are we talking about? Let me know. Am I not on? Can you not hear me? Bueller. Ian's here. Demsek is here. I was on Guns and Yellow Ribbons earlier today too, so please go support their channel. Give it a watch. Give it a like. Had a great chat with Dell and with Fergus on all things Arsenal. Good evening, Steve. Ola Allison. Terence Double T is here. Simons is here. Seb's here. Mask Gunner is here. You couldn't make the LA tour, but have been able to listen live to Highbury Squad. I don't know. What are you talking about? Let me see. Couldn't make. Oh, I see. You couldn't make it. Listen, that's why I'm here. I'm going to give you, it's going to be like a fly on the wall. You guys are going to love it. I hope you love it. We are going to talk about the new signing as well. But trust me, there'll be a show this week with an Italian football expert with Calafiori thumbnail all over the place. He's all over the place today. And you know what? Before we continue with our hellos, why don't we all as a group welcome our new signing, Riccardo Calafiori, who arrived in Philadelphia. He's now with his new teammates. This guy loves the Gunners. I love players who sign, who love the Arsenal. According to Mikel Arteta, in a comment that he made today, Calafiori told him, I've got my bags ready. They're all packed. Just tell me when. And so this is a player who absolutely wanted to join the club. And he is not only a super talented player, but to know that he has passion for the Arsenal, he understands what it means to be a fan, has also some type of knowledge of our history. It truly is a phenomenal signing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Josh Kroenke later on. But let me tell you, they're making it happen, and they're making it happen in the right way. He is just exactly what we needed. And he potentially is kind of like one of those future players. He's going to be great for now, and he's going to be great for the future. Very versatile, can play left back, left centre back, has played there for Bologna. He was one of the rising stars of the Italian team at the Euros. And I agree with you, Oshman. He will be great. And it was great to see you and so many other fans this weekend too. But bienvenido. We need more players that want to be Gunners. 100% Hector, and he certainly does. An elite signing, says Ian. Real Madrid did. And you know what, Sadiq? He only wanted Arsenal. And that is just exactly what we want. And I love him already too. I mean, do you guys feel already the instant love affair? I mean, we haven't even met. We haven't even had drinks. We haven't even had dinner. But yes, let me tell you, there is an instant love affair with this guy. The way he carries himself, the way he speaks, the way he plays. He to me seems like the quintessential Mikel Arteta signing, and I think it is a beautiful, beautiful thing to see. And my goodness, when you think about it, what a back line we have. I mean, let's talk about height as well. I think we have over 8 players now who are over 6 foot, and many of them are kicking in at 6'3", including Havertz up top. But when you talk about our defensive unit, Benjamin White, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, you've got Ricardo Calafiori now. We have Jurrien Timber, who, interestingly, where's he going to play? Because Mikel Arteta's tinkering, and I like it. James from AFTV had a really good question about Jurrien Timber and where he was playing, where he's going to be deployed. That's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. You also, of course, still have Kivior. He might be on his way. Zinchenko, I won't accept anyone giving him the poopies, because I think Zinchenko is still a really good player and has something to offer us. Yes, he's injury prone, but you've got Tomiyasu injury prone. But when you think about the players that we have at the back, and including David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale, still an Arsenal player, that is pretty impressive. That is pretty impressive stuff. So he's got the Maldinis, doesn't he, Matthew? Let's be honest. He's got the Maldinis. And this is what we were talking about on the show. The intimidation in the tunnel. You guys remember the picture that I continually put up last season of David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel, and Ben White in the tunnel, where they're kind of half looking and half looking over. And, you know, Super Kev always used to say that not only his team, but think about the Invincibles, right? You beat a team in the tunnel. And I've kind of given the analogy of Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods beat players before they even got on the tee, just through intimidation. And we need that. We need the intimidation factor. And there's a lot of things I took away from this tour. So why don't we get stuck into it? I'm not sure if you guys watched any of the games, but I'll give you my debrief. And for me, this tour so far, so the week in Los Angeles, has been less about the games and more about what I experienced, felt on the ground, right? And yes, of course, it's important. We want to see players. We want to see them be lean, be fit. And we'll get to talking about Jesus and Martinelli and some of the other guys. But one of the things I think that's really important, especially in the Mikel Arteta Adu era, is culture, right? We're a club that totally lost their identity and culture. We were dead. Let's be honest. We were on our knees, okay? And one of the things that they have been able to do, and it's a question I actually asked Mikel, because I talked about my interview with Gilberto Silva last year and how he was talking about how he and Adu are able to transmit something to players they're trying to sign, to players that are already there, about the Arsenal, what it means, what it feels like, how you should behave, what's expected, what the overall DNA of the club is. And I asked Mikel, I don't have that clip, but I'll show it to you guys in a later show. It's the only one I didn't have time to put up. But I asked him if in a third year, like we almost won 2 years ago, we almost won last season, in a third year, is it difficult to transmit all of that again? Reinforcing a message isn't easy in sports. When you have the right manager, the right team, the right setup, everything going on, the way it should behind the scenes, it's definitely a lot easier. You know, we've seen teams have managers that are able to just focus on the pitch. You know, Mikel Arteta had inherited an absolute gigantic mess. And so he was talking about how everybody needs to be culpable. Everyone's involved. It's going to take all of us together. Everyone has to be engaged. If it's not good enough, we've got to get better. If you can't feel it, find a way to feel it. And so for me, my biggest takeaway from the tour so far is this collective kind of strategic objective and overall belief that, you know, the progress is now totally focused on success. And that is kind of the biggest message that I got, especially in my conversations, you know, with Mikel. And I wanted to share that one with you, and I'll play it to you later on this week so you can hear it too. But yeah, why don't we kick off with the tailgate? So there was a tailgate right before the Bournemouth game, and Magic Mike was raising money for Gooners v Cancer. And here's my towel, my Ooh to be a Gooner, Gooners v Cancer towel. Let me tell you that on that night alone, during a tailgate that lasted a couple of hours, they raised over $4,000. $4,000. And they've raised a lot more than that because there was another event in Hermosa Beach as well. But to raise $4,000, and not only that, but the wonderful thing about the tailgate was the support. Gilberto Silva and Theo Walcott came, and Arsenal fans were able to hang out with them, get stuff signed, ask questions. It was really, Theo and Gilberto were everywhere. They attended absolutely everything. And as ambassadors go, I have to say that they have been two of the best combined. Gilberto, you know how I feel about him. After I got to interview him last year, I was in love with the guy before, but my goodness, the way he thinks, very deep thinker, pauses before he speaks. He's very articulate, and I think has been a phenomenal ambassador. This is Theo's first year on the tour as an ambassador, and I thought he absolutely smashed it. He's looking lean, by the way, looking like he could still play. And he was really just lovely. This is the picture I have up there in full, so you can see it. So before I went to the tailgate, luckily I just parked my car and I ran into these two, an invincible and a player who will always remember for the 2-0 stretcher moment. But it was also nice because I got to have a little chat about Super Kev with Theo especially. And he was very kind and, you know, saddened by the loss of our legend as well. And it was really comforting. You know, he hugged it out. And I just wanted to say that these two, when they talk about players representing your club, the old Rocky saying, they've really done a phenomenal job. And I think Arsenal fans in America have been absolutely loving them. And it was a special day, Magic, and you should take a bow. Well done, my American brothers. Well done, Magic. Hoots, hoots. Love that. This is the thing, too. It's not just about the football, right? It's about the community and the people and, you know, everything that goes along with it, which is why I'm telling you kind of what I have felt having spent time with everyone and around the team and the club. So also in attendance at the tailgate were our Arsenal Vision legends, which was lovely. I think this is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you, Runs with Cows. I thank you for recognizing that. Clive's first tour, Elliot, of course, has been around the block in the United States, but they were there to support the charity and also hang out with everyone. It was really, you know, just a lot of fun. One of our Gianni judges was there. The Ask Blog guys, Andrew and James. That was the first time actually I'd ever met James. I'd never met James before. Just a lovely human being. And, you know, really nice. And I got a lot of hugs. I think you know why, but I got some really good, intense, lovely, meaningful hugs. And it meant the absolute world to me. So it was great to see those guys. The panel that they did went down like a treat. Everyone enjoyed their panel. They always do good stuff that night as well. Also got to see Curtis and James from AFTV. And of course, Curtis has his own channel. These guys came, showed up and supported absolutely everything. They always support everything that Magic does, but they also support Arsenal America, and they're there with the fans. They involve the fans. They were doing their fan cams after the games. And so these guys were also on the ground as well. And, you know, say what you want, but they're there and they're there hanging out with people. And by the way, I watched the game with James. He's a fun person to watch the game with. I watched the Arsenal Manchester United game with James. And when I think about his tactical show with Graham Brooks, which is one of my absolute favorite shows, I think it's so super elevated when it comes to how they see the game. And I always learn something. Very smart young man. And yeah, he was fun to watch the game with. And Curtis is going to come on the show when he's back from the States so we can have a good chat. As you know, Kev used to appear on Curtis' show every now and again with him. And so we're going to get together and have a good old football chat, which will be lovely. These two are just trouble together, Julian and Lee. I got them seats right up front. I don't know what the duo is, Laurel and Hardy, Abbott and Costello. Call it what you want, but they are absolute trouble together. Bloody hilarious. But yeah, Judges always makes me laugh. But this was the most time I'd hung out with Julian, and everything they say on AFTV and the ribbing that he gets, I believe it to be true. One of my favorite moments of all was when I ran into Jake. And I think you guys know Jake is Mike's son. And this choked me up a little bit, which was a lovely moment. Jake was wearing his shirt signed by Super Kevin Campbell. Just the loveliest young man, I tell you. I just don't understand how he's Mike's son. Really, I just don't. But absolutely, well, when you meet Steph, Mike's wife, you'll understand, you know, why Jake and Ali are epic kids. Yes, I think others will vouch for me on that one. But this was beautiful to see Jake wearing his shirt. Hope that it's safe and sound. There's some, I tell you what, it was getting rowdy, but in a good way. Everyone was having, you know, a really lovely time. So without further ado, why don't I bring in Magic, and he can tell you a little bit about this event too, before I get stuck into some Josh Kroenke talk and play you a couple of clips and some bits with Mikel Arteta. Hola, Magic. Where are you? No, not there.
Huh. Am I here?
You're here.
There we go.
There you are.
Hello from Philadelphia.
Should I change my graphic back to Sophie and Magic, or should I just leave it? Do you want to
just leave it? You know, I'm better off being identified as Sophie anyway. I think I'll get more credibility in the media world, and you know.
Yeah, you got to frame that. Don't let him wear that shirt again. Why was he wearing it out, by the way?
He's
so cute.
He was very, very excited to see you in it. So. Yeah.
Oh, that's very cute. Very cute. By the way, right said Fred for Julian and Lee.
There's a story I could tell you about Julian. I don't know if you know this.
No, don't say it.
I'm not going to, but it's an experience he's had in his life, in his work life, that is you wouldn't believe it was true unless you already knew Julian, and then it makes a lot of sense. But maybe that's for like a late night show or something. Yeah,
late night show. We'll do the After Dark show this season, and we'll definitely do that. By the way,
all of our careers in 1 hour.
Well, we always said that lunch at the Chinese place in London was the best podcast to never actually be broadcast. By the way, just wanted to give some credit as well, because sometimes media outlets are a little bit naughty. But Curtis asked the question about what is it going to take to catch Manchester City, and the answer Mikel gave was just gold, wasn't it? It's one of my favorite answers of the entire presser so far, because at first, you know me and maths, Magic, useless. Yes. So at first I thought he was having a dig at the 115.
No, you literally can't get Oh, you thought he was talking about the charges.
I
Oh,
did.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. No,
Yeah.
3 times 38, you know, it adds up. But that's
Apparently.
it is actually like, I know a lot of fans and a lot of, like, you know, football addicts, they would know that 114 points is the most you can get in the Premier League. But strangely, you wouldn't necessarily expect a coach of a football club to be thinking about that. It's just like, I want to do as well as I can. The fact that he knew that right off the top of his head and that was the maximum, I mean, let's not read too much into small things, but I like that. I mean, that is the goal, apparently. And while he realizes it's not necessarily attainable by any football club in any era, that is the goal, and I think that's what they're shooting for. And well into Curtis for slightly improving upon his question from last year with this.
He got smacked last year, didn't he? With these questions,
I was pleased to see that he was invited back after that, and he certainly made up for it.
Oh, brilliant! And you know, it was great because seeing James. James has been in presses before, but in the Arsenal Bournemouth game, he got to ask a question, and you know, he's a tactical anorak, and he was so. There's something really cool about seeing things through younger people's eyes. I'm old enough to be our new goalkeeper's grandma. I've established.
I'm the only person in this entire world that we live in of our social circles that you're not old enough to be.
I know. Thank God you're around, Mike.
I was trying to call myself old, and I think I just insulted you. But let's move on.
But seeing James and the response as well, because the reason why I brought that up is because you were talking about Mikel and his quick answer of the 114. Dude, last season I was like, okay, this is cool. We're going places. But this season, he is such a quick thinker and he's so smart. I believe that is something that he has in his kind of crazy world when he, you know, barbecues on a Sunday outside in his yard. Those are the types of things that he cooks up. And those are the levels. And the way he talked about, you know, having to try and win every game, but mean it. Like he meant every word. Now, look, I'm not saying we're going to get 114 points. Don't go crazy. Don't at me.
We'll probably tap out at 110. I mean,
we'll probably tap out at 110. But it's the intent, and the intent was very, very different. But I was happy to
boisterous. It's not this like BS, you know, stuff that like Louis Van Gaal would have said, like, oh yeah, we're shooting for. I mean, you actually believe that is a target for them, and whereas 2 or 3 years ago it would have sounded completely out of place, completely unrealistic. There would have been no evidence to that possibly being even a realistic target. You kind of feel differently about it now. And, you know, and again, I mean, to get 100 would be a dream come true, but like, it is the attitude. It is emblematic of what this football club's singular message and the way that they're pointing are. And, you know, it's not hard to see for someone who's just kind of at the games, watching their social media, getting a sense of what's happening, watching them play. But for those of us that have been lucky enough to peek behind the curtain and see these people when they don't have to be on, and you know, they're kind of in little, you know, slightly more vulnerable moments, and they just really do. If they're putting on an act, it's a real damn good act.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about that when I talk about Josh Kroenke a little bit, because I can smell bullshit a mile off. You know, I've worked in the entertainment industry for years. And, you know, from executive level to the creative people. And I take that as the executives that ran 20th Century Fox or Sony Pictures. And then the creative people, you know, would be, so there would be Josh Kroenke, the executives. And then the creative people are the filmmakers, the director, the actors on set. They would be Mikel Arteta and the players. And I was thinking about that a lot, you know, while I was especially at the LA Rams day. But I want to get through this LA bit first. Real quick, I told them you raised over $4,000. The whole, the big cheeses were there, the Podfather, the big guns. It was magical, forgive the pun. And, you know, just another brilliant event, Mike.
Well, I appreciate that. I heard all the things you said. It meant so much to me that we eventually found each other there. I know there was a little bit of difficulty navigating where we were located in that crazy lot, but I was so happy to see you. The worst part about those events is that I don't get to spend enough time with any one person, you know, who's there, but I get, you know, I see the totality of all the people that were there. I felt supported. We, you know, between the two events on Wednesday and on Friday, we raised nearly $6,000 for Gooners versus Cancer. And more than that was the fact that these were community things. I mean, not only did we do good things for a good cause, and do I feel, you know, glad and validated and help, you know, that I had the assistance of so many people helping me out that night, Ryan and Megan and Steph and Jake and so many others who helped set up and run the thing. But it was something where I think everyone just had fun. And, you know, it wasn't, I mean, it was the place to be before the game. And I love that. I love that about this fan base, because you just get to see people, you know, reunite, you make new friends, you get energized for the season to come. And I do appreciate the support from everybody. And then we went in and had a, you know, 120 minutes or 105 minutes of kind of irrelevant football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no. He doesn't have Vespa with him.
I wanted to ask you how Vesca's been doing without Vespa's doing without me. I miss her so much.
She's been missing you. She's been really missing you. Okay, let's are you going to stay for a little bit, or are you going to go?
Look, that's completely up to you. I mean, having been there alongside you while we talked to Josh
stay,
and all that,
stay, hang out.
Can I first just say though that your professionalism in those environments, the difference between Sophie and myself, even if we're in the same environment at the same thing, I came out of that with a selfie with Josh Kroenke and like, whoa, look who I got to hang out with. And Sophie's just cranking out content, value, insight, you know. So if you want to know why you can't just become a fake journalist with just because you have one of these on, and don't ask me why I have this on during the podcast, but you know, it doesn't make you a journalism. It takes years and years of practice, and she's the best at it, and loved by the club as well, and for very, very good reason. Trusted and loved by the club. So
well, that means a lot.
You're not going to do it.
That means a lot to me, Mike. Thank you so much. And you know, I love that conversation with Josh. And you know, there's some stuff that we can discuss, but the thing is, it's like there was nothing to hide. Like the discussion was just, and I really wanted to pick his brains, because I'm like, man, this guy's so. I'm getting into Josh speak now, but I'm going to save it. Okay, I'm gonna save it. But I do appreciate your kind words. But I loved that conversation and many others that we had. Okay, well,
for me, it was. I'm sorry, I keep pulling you back into this, but for me, it was. I mean, there was a.
Why did I invite you to stay? Literally, never going to get through any of these videos, for fuck's sake.
Just a reminder that I talked to him 5 years ago, and with what's happened in the meantime, the contrast of it, the way he felt, the way he expressed himself, the freedom to be able to say, well, here's some of the things we've done and why they've worked is phenomenal, and
yeah.
That's all I was going to say. Sorry.
Yeah. Suraj wants Vinny. Fine, I'll bring Vinny out. Vespa is getting her own swag this season. She's not having it. She said that after her appearance with Mike, especially, that she's been totally marginalized. She feels a little bit like Pepe, you know, and but she's going to be a keeper. We're not transferring her at all. So here's Vespa. Going to see more of her. Her favorite player is Ramsdale. She may have to change that to Raya, depending on what happens this summer. And just for Suraj, here's Vinny. Hit that like button. It helps the channel. Okay, so I love just recording stuff, and it's mostly B-roll, because then I like just talking about it with you guys. But the Bournemouth game, I think the thing for me was Arsenal were back on a pitch. Hey, it kind of felt like, yay, you know, we got back to that moment. I promised Tom Canton that I would try, but I'm sorry. I just can't do that, Kit. The shorts are outrageous. The top at the beginning, I was sitting next to Lee and I said, you know what, Lee, I could go for that top maybe. He's like, nah, not having it. And then the players start moving and running around and you see the shorts and then the white bits are going everywhere. And I'm like, I can't do it, Mike. I can't do it.
No, I mean, look, it's every once in a while you got to skip one, and this is the one that I'm giving a miss. I gave the collared home kit 2 seasons ago a miss because I'm not a huge fan of collars, but like, you know, for me, it's not, you know, for me, dog, it's a little pitchy. It's a little, you know, I'm gonna skip that one. The third one I'm all over when it comes out. I like that. So maybe I'll just go with the training kit this year instead of that one. I don't need that.
Yeah, Tom was sporting his kit. Like after I was bitching about the kit, not bitching about it, but saying in our group how much I really dislike it. Tom's like, "Oh, I just ordered that." So Tom doesn't talk like that, by the way. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to play a couple
That's
of
how
videos.
we hear it, though. I mean, he doesn't talk like that, but that's how he sounds to us.
Oh, this could be the longest show ever. Right. I'm going to play some videos for you guys just so you can get a flavor of what it was like on the night. And there's one particular player I want to talk about. And then an observation I made between Mikel Arteta and Ethan. Coming off, and he has been, there's a lot of real positives about this tour. Jesus looks lean, fit, fighting machine. Martinelli looks hungry, like he just wants to devour everybody and everything, which is unbelievable. Big Gabby's back, Havertz is back. You know, there's a lot. Calafiori just arrived in Philadelphia. Mike's going to see him. There's so much, but for me, so far, and there's still 2-3 days to go, the story of this tour is Nwaneri. And he has shown a level of maturity and a style and so many things. Now, I don't want to diminish either the other players, because the other youngsters, and I'm going to play a clip from Mikel from the United game, but they have been absolutely superb. Before the tour, a lot of fans were saying they don't give any chances to the kids. Hey, when are we going to see the youngsters? What's going on? Mikel doesn't give anyone a chance.
Is that Lee Judge's mother? You're doing that. What?
Is that what, do you think that's what Lee's mum sounds like?
That's what I would imagine she sounds like. You know what I mean? Like,
do you know what I mean? Like, come on. Do you know what I mean?
My son does a great Lee Judges, by the way. It's hilarious.
And here they are. But the difference is this. Sometimes they pile in the kids to make up the numbers on a preseason tour, right? And it was easy to do that this year because of the missing players. However, this is also a chance for them to show Mikel Arteta what they can do. Now, it's not just about how you play on the pitch, because, you know, I'll leave this. This was a conversation I had with someone associated with the club, and he's looking at behavior. This dude, this Don, I'm telling you, this is coming from someone who didn't believe in Mikel Arteta for the first year and a half, really questioned where we going, what we doing. This guy looks at everything. When I talk about the details, and so for these young players to come in, it's not just about how they performed on the pitch. How are they carrying themselves? How are they interacting with the senior players? How are they behaving when they're not playing? What are they utilizing their time doing? Are they working hard enough? How are they behaving on the bench? How are they behaving if they don't get selected? How are they behaving if they get subbed? Some people may say, oh, that's standard stuff. No. Having the brain as a manager to be observing what's happening on the bench as you're also managing the game. I mean, this guy's capacity, Mike, for information is incredible. And Nwaneri stole the show from other youngsters who really actually had a good game. He looks impressive. He looks like he's ready to play. He looks like he could back up Saka. He could be a number 10. He's very versatile. He's special, isn't he?
I think we're going to see in Premier League games, we're going to see a very different 9-person bench than we've been seeing the last couple of years. And that isn't a sign of weakness. It's not like we're playing League Cup level teams in the Premier League, which obviously would be a bad thing. I think some of these guys are ready. And at least, you know, with us playing 2 games a week, 2 big games a week, you know, for large stretches of the season, we're going to need that depth, and it doesn't all have to come from outside the club. We have some folks that are almost ready. They're almost fully baked to have that opportunity to take a leap like Bukayo Saka did. I'm not comparing them to Bukayo Saka, but I'm comparing that stage where he was just starting to break into the first team. ESR, same thing, and I'm sad about him. But yeah, I mean, Ethan seems ready, and he's barely 17.
Yeah,
barely
it's going to be
17.
18 next March.
Yeah, next March. Heaven looked fantastic, and I'm sure you'll get on to him. And he was one that Mikel acknowledged, even with a mistake on the pitch, the way he handled it showed that he belonged.
Okay, seeing as you brought that up, let me play this, because this is from the United game, but you're taking, I'm with Magic. He's going to take me chronologically out of order. But seeing as we're talking about Heaven, let's play this.
Sophie?
Hi, Mikel. Heaven made a little mistake for the first goal, and then completely had a turnaround and played some really good football, great touches. What were your thoughts? Because to bounce back like that after not competing in that first moment must have been difficult, but his mentality to come back was pretty impressive.
Very impressive. At 17, I don't know how many players they are able to do that in a stage like this. He's lost a duel against one of the most strongest and fastest players in the world. It can happen, but as you said, what was the reaction afterwards? The composure, the quality, the body language that he had afterwards is remarkable. Really, really happy with him.
Hi, Mikel.
Okay, so
Great question.
thank you. He told me he liked my hat, which for a hat person, I really...
He does
really
notice
like.
everything. He notices everything. He's going to incorporate that hat into the game plan, and it's going to be a thing.
Yeah. Great framing of that question. Thank you, John. And then you get, another squaddy that says Sophie serves up a tap in for Mikel. It was nice. Listen, just call me Martin Ødegaard. You know what I'm saying? Keith says, I've noticed whenever you're up for a question, MA smiles at you. Yeah, well, we're buddies now. What can I say? I love doing it. I love it. And you have to, one of the things I was having a conversation with some of the younger journalists on the ground is, in a general press conference, for example, like today in Philly, don't ask a tactical question. I wouldn't anyway. I would ask a tactical question after the game, right? The pre-game pressers are really good for, what do you want to find out? What do you want to know? What makes this guy tick, or what makes his team tick? And so he's so much better now than he was, Mike, in pressers. He doesn't get irritated as much. I mean, he probably will during the season when there's a bad VAR decision, but he is totally raised his game when it comes to talking to the media. Like, he's got that down. He's super, super smart. And by the way, we're not hyping Heaven or any of the young players. Calm down. Who was it who said that? I gotta put it up. Oh God, here you go. Raging. He's raging is the demon. Oh God, here we go with the overhyping of a young player who ain't done nothing.
Ballon, I mean, we're saying Ballon d'Or, but just not for another 2 years. We're not saying this season. So
yeah. It's my life's calling me a flip-flop. I love it. Is it so long ago? I still get tarnished. It's true what they say. Hugh Grant, every article for Hugh Grant would say, and Hugh Grant, who was arrested on Hollywood Boulevard years ago. It's like, come on, man, give me a break. Even Super Kev was like, hey, you guys need to, call your jets. It was so long ago. It feels like so long ago.
At some point, humble pie becomes part of the past. You don't need to continue to eat it. And,
Yeah, exactly. And, the good thing is that seeing that there are these young players, that they're around and that they're in existence. Okay. Let me show you this video, because I was really into this, because this is a play that I haven't rated and I don't feel like has the it factor. What did he do? Went on and banged a great goal in that first game. But it's the interaction that I was interested in, Mike. Now that was the water break, Mike. That was after the goal. Was that after? I think that was after his goal. Was it before his goal? I think it may have been before. I don't know. Anyway,
I can't remember where the goals were in relation to the water break, but yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like a player who's kind of just frustrated and going through the motions because of his spot on the team not being what he might want it to be. That's every single person has their role. They know their role. That's beautiful.
Sorry, Mike. Everyone, the damn squaddies. Her name was Divine Brown. Sorry to the disrespect of the lady who was in, the vehicle. Hit the like button for sure. So I found that interesting because Mikel didn't seek Vieira. Vieira seeked Mikel. And that was a really interesting exchange. And a lot of people on the ground kind of believe that some people want him to go out on, some fans want him to be loaned. 35 million signing, hasn't really delivered, had the injury last season. But to me, it seems like he may have a part to play in the squad this season versus not, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, I at this time last year or shortly after this, he's banging in the winning penalty and the Charity Shield. He's looking every bit like he's going to be a regular contributor on the first team, and then we actually fared fairly well with our health in the front and our performance in the in the attacking side of the team. That it was hard for him to break into games. That was really what I wanted to see happen, is that we are good enough up front and strong enough and healthy enough up front that Vieira wouldn't just have to be plugged in and played. That we always want there to be competition and more. Jacob and I are supposed to go out to dinner, so he wants me to hurry up.
Oh, he wants you to wrap up. Well, you can duck out if you need to, but yeah. And here's one of the reasons why they can't send him out on loan, because I think someone will be heartbroken. Gabby looked happy. He looked hungry. He was raring to go. He was so happy when he got his goal. He just looked like the total opposite, Mike, of last season. Last season, he was struggling anyway, gets injured, just not the best. And to me, there's two players who really have much to prove this season.
Are they both named Gabby?
No. Oh, yeah, they are. Yeah. Cool. Dude, I totally forget his name's Gabby because all I do is call him Jesus.
That's who I thought. That's who I figured you were going with. I'm like, oh, geez, what did I just set up? Yeah. No, I mean, it's a big year for the two of them. And I mean, a nice summer of very little, or in Jesus's case, no football. And hey, these players were not poor players. I don't think we've outgrown them. They each have, I mean, Martinelli, I still look at as being every bit of, a 100 million pound player. If you want to just slap a price tag on him to make an assessment of how good he is, he's still that player. He's not getting worse. He just had a bad year.
Yeah.
But, he looks like he's champing at the bit.
I think Jesus could have, if he can stay fit, I think that he is a player that has a point to prove. And he looked leaner to me. He looked a little, not thinner, but just, leaner. And I believe that with all the tools that he has in his toolbox, the things that he brings to the table, he's never going to be the prolific goal scorer, but what he can offer and what he can do, I think we'll see first season Jesus back at the Arsenal. You can
creamy injury, Jesus. Those were like 3 or 4 of the, before he got hurt at the World Cup. Those were 3 or 4 of the best debut months of a footballer.
Oh yeah,
in a long time.
Yeah, and to be fair, Eddie did a decent job for as long as he could, and then didn't. And by the way, let's not discuss, but how many chances did he have? It's just, but you know what? When he knows he's on his way as well. But Mikel made him captain. I wonder if he did that just so he could have some nice photos.
I don't know. Speaking of photos that were less pleasant, I mean, I felt physically sad looking at ESR, just like the one player who wasn't getting up and warming up with any of the other players, the one player who didn't make it onto the pitch, and he just looked sad. I mean, best wishes to him. Fulham's a great place for him to go. I wish him no no harm. I think he'll be great there once he gets his confidence level back up. But like, it was awkward during the Bournemouth game because you could I mean, at SoFi you couldn't really see the players' faces on the bench, but at the Bournemouth game you could.
He's never really been one to show too much emotion, Emil, but I can imagine, you know, when I left my first job after being there for a number of years, it was sad, man. I mean, I wanted to leave for better options, but it was sad. It's hard. Change is not easy. Not everyone can adapt to change. And he was there young. I mean, I went to school and got my job. He went there when he was a boy.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like these kids, they're kids to men, and they grew up in front of our very eyes. And it's really hard because you just want them to be as good as Saka, every Highlander. But, you know, at some point you've got to cut the umbilical cord and you've got to say goodbye, you know. And unfortunately for Emil, it's not worked out. And I actually have this that I wanted to share with everyone. And this was hard too, because everyone was telling Reece how well he played and then saying good luck to Emil.
He doesn't know what to do. Is that us?
Well played, Reece.
Well done, Reece. Oh, yeah, Emil, good luck in the future.
I heard you try to give him a little.
I wanted to hug him. I was like the mother there. I was like, oh, Emil.
Can you imagine if he just walked by and you were just standing there like this, waiting? He might have taken you up on it.
I think he may have. I think he would have enjoyed that hug. You know what's really funny is when they were coming out at SoFi was how they were coming out in their packs, right? And it's like everyone came out, like Jesus, Big Gabby came out with Zinchenko. Jesus actually came out with Timber, but Havertz came out with Ødegaard. And then, you know, there is the one guy that is just like, doesn't need anyone.
That is one unique gentleman.
I tell you, he is. And the guy was from CBS, and he's like, I got a question from Micah Richards. And he's like, I don't care. Just, you know, whatever. He's just really unreal.
I was fortunate enough to be right behind the goal for his just what's the word that without actually using the word, his S-housery with the keeper for Ben White, just literally doing circles around the keeper and the defender. I love that guy on our team so much, and if he ever got transferred to another team, I would immediately hate him.
Yeah, totally. Oh yeah, he's that kind of player. If he's yours, you love him. I mean, yeah, and if he's not,
finally we have one of those, because I mean, you know, Bruno Guimaraes, Bruno Fernandes. I mean, all those guys. You know that if they played on our team, the butcher, like we would love those guys, but we just hate them because of who they play for. And
totally.
Ben White's that. We love it.
Totally. I mean, I have to say, I could have shown the squaddies. If you want, I'll show him to you on the next show. But I do have a whole bunch of Man United stuff as well, because I've got to, just for other work and stuff. And also my niece, my dad, my sister, and my great niece now are all United fans. So is the husband. So I was like, I'm going to be a good aunt and show my niece a video of Rashford, right? But when Anthony came out, I was, he looked like, if he wasn't a footballer, I'd be like, what would this guy be? And let me tell you, he was holding a carrier bag, and he did not carry it the same way as Kieran Tierney carried his Tesco bag. Let me tell you, Magic.
Was he spinning it around and like, was he doing little step overs with the bag? And I mean, that guy, I think if we signed him, I would not embrace him. I honestly, there's some people that I just really don't even think I would like if they came and kissed the badge and played their ass off for a season. I would still be like, you're just a.
That would never, ever happen. I got blanked by Havertz, but I just, just say hi. As they go by sometimes, just like to say hi. Just, he did turn around after him, like, whatever. But here's your.
Was it you or was it Tom that told me about how, like, one time Ozil was like, he's like can't talk in the mix zone, and he could see that his lock.
Yeah, it wasn't on his phone. Yeah.
His lock screen was on. He was like, you're not talking.
You know what's really. I mean, it's You know, it's so bad because they always earmark someone who's going to actually talk to the press before they come out. So everyone just walks through. And if you ask, they'll stop or they won't. And in this case, I'm not going to ask. If the club haven't earmarked them, it's different on a preseason tour. In a Premier League season, I would totally be trying to stop everyone just to get a quote, right? And the Man United guys were next to us. So I think, is it United View or the one with Flex? They were hilarious, by the way.
I can never get those channels. All I know is Goldbridge, and there's some guy Trey and Flex.
And of course, the other guys are animated, like the AFTV guys. No, he wasn't there. No, it's the other channel that Flex.
Oh, right.
Yeah. They're all like wanting to high five the boys and stuff, and I'm just never going to do that. You know what I mean? But they did high five them. What? It's funny, you know. In preseason,
fascinating. There's like a protocol, but there's not, and it like changes over time. And there's, I mean, I've been a fly on the wall in those things, and that's how I feel. I don't belong off the wall. I'm a fly on the wall, but it's just this fascinating dynamic that happens, and everyone in their life should have just an opportunity to see how it works behind the curtain, because it's pretty interesting.
And I love kind of showing them this kind of stuff. I thought Kivior was a lot taller in person. He's a big lad, very tall lad. I mean, everyone's tall compared to me.
He's a unit.
I mean, people kind of looking at my my picture with Per Mertesacker was funny, but this one too. Where is it? This one. Everyone's like, "Are you that short, or is he that tall?"
Well, he's a basketball player. I mean, he is tall, and you're short. I mean, it's a combination of the two, and that.
I mean, with heels, I could easily, if I've got 4 inches, I could do I could get to 5'6". Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, look, when it's necessary. They didn't have the little box to stand on there because it was a little bit more impromptu. But I was happy to see that it was a bit more clean shaven, looked less like a grizzly bear.
He looked lean, mean, fighting machine. Let me play these videos real quick before we get to some Josh Kroenke talk. Just realized
we're in. Then you can kick me out if you want, because that's.
No, it's all good. Here we go. That's your voice.
I just smiled. I was like, "Do you hear that? How you doing? That's all I have to say. How you doing?"
Hold on 1 second.
Excuse me.
So that's Stan in the background. Let me get rid of Josh for a second. Hold on 1 second. That's Stan in the background, and that's Mikel talking to LA Rams coach Sean McVay. And this is the part.
Long time.
Look. This is what you can't fake, right? So, hey, Hertzy, how you doing? One of my favorite Americans is Hertzy. I love him. Where's his message gone?
Mikey, massive mahelp to the tailgate on Wednesday. Thank you so much, Mikey.
Yeah, he's a special guy. Here we go. Vertically challenged. Hey, yeah. I mean, all sweet things come in small packages. Like I said, if I'm wearing my stilettos, I'm a good 5'6". Just saying. Right. Mike, this is what you can't fake, right? The relationships, the time spent. So there was an event at LA Rams training camp, and the Arsenal organized for Mikel Arteta and Martin Ødegaard to go down there. Martin Ødegaard was playing with the kids. So was Mikel. They were signing American footballs. They were signing soccer balls. They were signing shirts. They were signing all sorts of stuff. Mikel Arteta and Sean McVay spent a lot of time together. And also, I love this. This was one of my favorite moments. Cooper Kupp, superstar wide receiver for the LA Rams, and our captain, Martin Ødegaard. On for a while, just throwing catch, playing catch, and chit-chatting, right?
Do you have video of Cooper juggling a proper football? Like he was much better.
I missed that. Yeah. He was really, really good.
I mean, he
really
was doing
good.
some keepy up for like, you know, good 30, 60 seconds with a football. And I did, you know, maybe he has some soccer experience as a kid, but I wouldn't have expected that out of Cooper.
You know what was cool after that? You know, after he did the kick-ups, he was trying to teach Ødegaard how to drop kick. So, yeah. And at first, Ødegaard thought he was asking him to kind of kick a field goal type thing. He goes, no, drop kick. And his first one was pretty bad. But then after that, like, nailed it, of course, did Ødegaard.
The learning curve with Ødegaard is not that steep. You give him something to do, he'll get it done.
He is, how special is he? I mean, see, I'm all over the place now because now I was going to go the other direction, but forget about that. I want to talk about the reality and the conversation with when you see the LA Rams and Arsenal, the synergy between the two. Clearly, they've learned a lot from each other, right? The Kroenkes are in this business for the long haul. They have had teams that have done well. They've had teams that have failed. And then they've recently had teams that have won championships. Seeing Mikel Arteta talk to Sean McVay. Sean McVay lost a national, lost a Super Bowl final, lost a division championship game, came back, won the Super Bowl on their own turf, by the way, in epic fashion. The Nuggets, similar. The Avalanche, they were a broken franchise for a while, even though storied, came back, won the Stanley Cup. Nuggets won the NBA championship. And I've said this a lot on our show, and people always, some people, I don't know if it will be the same now, but they'll say, American sports is different. You know what? So Amazon are a global company that do well everywhere. You know, does that mean that running Amazon, shipping in Germany, you can't run it as efficiently, you know, out of, you know, Brasilia? The point is they know football, they know hockey, they know basketball. They've hired exceptionally smart people. Here's my takeaway, Mike. I found myself, I came home and I was saying to Tony, geez, my brain's just going like this. And she's like, what happened? I go, you know, I'm around a lot of smart people. She said, but that was just like, these people are so smart. And this is what I wanted to talk about tonight with the squaddies and anyone else who's listening. There are super smart people running this football club. And when I say super smart, I'm not blowing sunshine up their ass. I'm not on the payroll, okay? I don't get any perks or any benefits. This is me talking to you as a person who was on the ground, who has followed the club on these tours since the Wenger days, the Emery days, and now the Arteta days. And then it's night and day. And I'm not saying people before them weren't smart. All I'm saying is that, you know, when you talk to someone like Josh Kroenke, you feel and you sense the appetite to win. He understands what is needed to build to get there. But in order to understand our game, he has hired super smart people to run the business. Okay. But most importantly, what I got from that conversation as well with Josh, Mike, is that he's a sports fan. He is a sports guy. You know, Stan's love affair is the LA Rams. You know, Josh loves Arsenal. You could feel that in everything he was saying, everything he was talking about, the tools needed to create a team and the empowerment that he has given to the core team at the Arsenal to rebuild it the way they have. And you can't deny what they've done. You can't deny. If you're a denier still, I don't know what to say to you.
He knows it's not finished yet. Like we're not they're not resting on their laurels. They're not even going to say, well, we've accomplished it. We've done this. Pat me on the back. They know that the chapter's not finished yet, and that there's a lot of work still to do. And he made that very clear. But I mean, you know, can you believe that 5 years ago this summer, there was a "We Care Do You" thing, and he had to basically come out and answer to whether he cared about Arsenal or not, because the vast majority of Arsenal supporters around the world felt as though they didn't. And it was clear to me then that they did, but that there was still just a lot of learning. A lot of comparisons were made about the other teams in the other sports. And at that moment in time in 2019, none of those other championships had happened yet. None of the teams were particularly successful, but they were all on the rise with young coaches, with hiring the right people and putting them in place, with the protocol of that. It just hadn't yet come to fruition yet. And at the time, it was very easy to say, well, it kind of seems like they think that Arsenal's just like every other sport, because it is different than the NBA. It is different than the NHL and the NFL. Fundamentally, socially, historically, in every single way. What they've shown in the last 5 years, though, with the possible exclusion of what was a very, significant learning experience that I don't even know if you're going to go there about this other conversation, but with the possible bump in the road of the ESL situation and the drama that caused, they have shown that they are willing and wanting and succeeding at understanding the differences between football and England and the other sports in America, and the difference between a club and a franchise. And
exactly.
Only helped in the last few years grow the bond, grow. Josh is now way more present than he was. He's going to away games at times, and it's all part of a, it's not even, I almost said strategy. It's not part of a strategy. It's part of embracing what needs to be done to be good owners, to be good custodians of the club, as he's called himself. And I'm glad that he's taken the reins more publicly from his father, because he really was able to get something of a fresh slate, whereas his dad was never going to get embraced.
No,
but he's everything that
even Rams fans don't embrace Stan. Stan's old school.
And people in Missouri, and just
right,
a lot of baggage there. But Josh is the real deal.
He is, and here's the thing, and I respect everyone's opinion, and especially the listeners who come on the show. But raging, like, this is majorly, I think, the kind of fan that I'm talking to. I think we all evolve as fans, right? There are things that happen in life. There are things that you see and understand. It came to a point where I couldn't deny what I was seeing, right? The season when we missed out on qualifications for the Champions League, and Tottenham kind of got there and we didn't. Even I could see a difference. The following season, the improbable season, it's undeniable, the difference. Last season, it's undeniable, the difference. I think people just think you could just win just like that. We're battling a machine, and a machine that has done things to enhance their ability to win in the sport, allegedly, right? So I get that you want to win, but there are a lot of people that do watch, that do care about the videos, because they want to be a fly on the wall. They want to be part of it. They want to be there. They would love to meet the players. They would love a minute to speak with Mikel Arteta. They'd like to experience this. And it's hard because we were a team that had a winning culture and we won in the past. But this is a new time, a new era. And the instant gratification of sports is kind of a pandemic. Now, I want to win. I want to win the Premier League. But am I going to be the fan that calls for Mikel Arteta's head if we don't win the Premier League this season? No. And you have to take all of these other factors into place. First, who are you going to replace him with? Where's your club going to go after that? What guarantees do you have the person coming in can do what he's doing? There's a lot more to running a football club these days. And there's a lot more to being a manager than, just demanding, I want 100 million transfer. I want a 50 million transfer. I want to bring all these players in. Of course, he'd bring all these players in if he could. They just gave him Calafiori. They gave him Rice last season. They've given him Trossard. Earlier than that, Benjamin White, Jurriën Timber. they are building something, Mike, and it's undeniable to me. And I respect everyone's opinions, but saying like we haven't won anything in 4 years, hopefully that will change this season. Hopefully.
And you know, the first sentence, and Reggie, I don't mean to pick on you because I know a lot of people who share the same sentiment that you have, and it's a legitimate sentiment to have. But I mean, the first sentence, I don't care about any of this. All I care about is winning the title. It would make me sad if that's how I felt, because while that is the ultimate goal, you know, I'm a journey person, not a destination only person, and you know, and this club is about, and this show is about how this club is about more than just. I mean, why bother watching it of any of it and just pick up a newspaper in May and see whether we won or not and celebrate or toss it down and do it again next year? I mean, no one's given or guaranteed anything, but I know how I felt in 2014 and 15 and 16 and watching Leicester City win and watching City win all the time, watching Liverpool rise from the dead and take something that I wanted us to have before them. I know how that felt, and I know how this feels. And this is, I'll take this, and I'll take where this is headed. And I feel that down to my bones that this is headed to exactly where you are going to want to eventually be. But I'm going to enjoy the way there.
Exactly. And this too. Yes, he is not into this. So you know that he knows. And after the ESL experience, the last thing they want to do after bringing everyone together is lose the fans again. There's going to be continued pressure for this game in America type thing. But even American fans don't want it. They want to go to...
Nobody that I know wants this.
Yeah.
No one.
No one. No one. I'd rather be relevant. We are relevant. Exactly. We're relevant again. We were irrelevant. But people mistook us for being a small club when we were irrelevant. We
were a joke.
Yes, but we were still a big club, right? Doing small things, doing nothing. And remember that picture I showed you, squaddies? I think it was when David Hillier was on. The picture of the team from the Emery days to now. You know, and look at culture as well. Look what Emery's doing at Villa. Arsenal wasn't the right spot for him. He's being given the keys to the kingdom at Villa, and it's working out for him there. You know, it's
you would have never had a journalist's phone going off for Mikel Arteta, because that's unacceptable now. During the Emery days, all kinds of that stuff was going on. I mean,
I wonder who that was, people. I wonder who that. Exactly.
Discipline was just, you know, there was just none.
The day Xhaka wanted to kill you, and your phone went off as well. What a day Mike had that on that tour. That was absolutely amazing. We were joking.
I was having like flashbacks when I went to Dignity Health Park. I was like I started to tremble and sweat again because of just being in the same place.
Oh, gosh. Now, I'm sure and I'm prepared for comments like, she spent a few minutes with Josh and she's drunk the Kool-Aid. I don't know whose mother that was, by the way.
Mother, that was, jeez. I'm going to say that was Hoggy's mother.
It's classic. No, I just know what I felt when the conversation was going on, and it was very interesting when we were talking about what they're trying to do. Like, they've just hired a Mikel Arteta type at the Rapids, as I said, and he talked a lot about patience and that is needed, but they will give Mikel what he needs to continue. And here's the other thing too. They all, you know how before it would be like, oh, Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham. This is the level of elevation in the thinking of where we sit. All they see is Manchester City. That is all they want to topple Manchester City. And I had a couple of conversations about that. And we won't go into details, but let me just tell you, the goal is to beat them. 114 points, fine. But their pursuit of excellence is to beat Pep Guardiola and Manchester City.
And not just one time and then back down the table again like Liverpool. but we're building something that gives us the opportunity to do that every single year. And, you know, who knows what happens with Manchester City. They're an old team. They're under some legal pressures, and Pep won't be there forever. And you know, do they have the money to just reboot easily? Probably. But, like, nothing lasts forever. And we're well poised to take that spot if it opens up, or if we open it up for a long time to come. So
exactly. Exactly. Albert's in the house. When we come, yeah. Well, we're gonna. Yes. There's gonna be some events happening in London. Right. You can mention that. You can mention that at the end. We love Albert. Go to Albert JTV, give him a hug, give him some love, and subscribe. Hit that like button. By the way, I've been told there's 200 people in chat and there's only something like 11 likes. Surely you don't dislike Mike that much.
No, I think he just needed to, I think well, yeah, that has nothing to do with how many likes. There's 47 dislikes on the channel, but no, there's actually 150 likes. I think he just needed to reboot his screen there because it doesn't.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Just making sure. All right. Just to whiz through these, and I'll be sharing more stuff with you as well. And we'll get some stuff from Philadelphia. The Sophie Day was amazing. This is Tiffany, who you saw on the show, the Gal Gadot, as many of you labeled her, who organized a lot of this stuff. Just a top shelf lass and doing a great job for Arsenal America. This is the $1 million screen. I'm telling you, I think it's more than that. There's no way this just cost $1 million. It's got
a billion. That's got to be $1 billion.
Just on itself, the screen. Yeah. This is me, Magic and Tiff, doing magical things. You know that show, Meet the Goldbergs? Is that the show?
There's Meet the Fockers, I think.
Well, Meet the Fockers, yeah. Well, this is Meet the Feinbergs. I had met all the Feinbergs other than Ali, and got to meet her this weekend, which was absolutely delightful. Beautiful family, having fun. You know,
the last 5 days, honestly, been 5 of the greatest days of my life, and it's just because bringing my family together with my Arsenal family and getting to finally, we had to make sure that Allie could meet you because she wasn't at the game on Wednesday. She came in on Thursday morning, and the 4 of us just laughed and had a good time, and they supported me in my endeavors, and we just all had so much fun together. And, you know, it was Arsenal and Gooners that brought us all together for this. I mean, that's not what it takes to bring us together, period. But, like, in this case, it was just, I'm pinching myself about how lucky of a person I am because of pictures like this. And look at Tiffany and Sean in the background of this picture too.
I know. I think they're taking a selfie there. And he wouldn't leave me alone. Jeez. I was like, I'm going to get in trouble with your wife. And he cracked a funny joke, which
for some reason, I think I have a free pass when it comes to you with my wife. I don't know what.
I wonder why.
I don't think she's overly threatened, other than that we're going to be better friends than he and I are. But,
literally, he wouldn't stop hugging me, you guys. I love you, Soph. I love you. I'm like, I love you too, Magic. I got to go. No, don't go. Stay. I got to go.
There might have been some underlying chemical reason for that on this particular day.
I wasn't going to say it. That's your story to tell, not mine. Although on Guns and Yellow Ribbons, everyone was like, oh, wow, Mike drunk? No.
Look, either I was working hard and walking a thin line with the charity, or I wasn't. I mean, it was pretty much Wednesday and Friday I was professional Mike, and then Thursday and Saturday somewhat little bit less so. But,
let go a little bit as well. A couple of other lovely American Gooners here.
Steve Manios on the left, former LA Gooner, who now lives about 10 minutes from me in Florida. And that's Kevin Dunham, who's a board member. He's the treasurer for Arsenal America, and his girlfriend Dorsa, who's a lovely addition to the Gooner family.
Yeah, love her. And then let's see. I've got to play this, of course. Did I plug it in? I'm sure I did. No, I didn't. Well, there you have it. That's unfortunate. Oh, dear. I had the North London Forever song ready to play for everybody, but it's clear that I did not upload it. But I'll show you guys. I'll show you that another day. But it was a wonderful event. It was brilliant. And I would like to play you a clip because Mike got me discombobulated here. I'm going to play you the clip in case you missed it of the first press conference with Mikel, ending on a little football where I asked him about partnerships. Here we go. Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
The last couple of seasons, one of the beautiful things about the team has been these partnerships that you've been able to develop on the pitch. And last season, you had a pre-season where you had mostly everybody together. Do you feel that going into this next season, especially having come so close last, that missing some of those key players when you are such a perfectionist too makes it more difficult to have those partnerships ready at the right time?
It's a different context that we have to adapt and find ways, having less or more limited time, be better. And this is what we have prepared for. It's true that as well they have spent another year together, so that chemistry, those relationships are already really, really strong, and I think it will click as soon as they get together again.
And it seems like they are clicking, Mike, because let me get rid of this picture as much as I love these guys. They're, you know, you're seeing everyone back. I mean, you know, Calafiori's new and stuff like that. This was Mikel in the presser. There's a great chemistry between the team, between the players, and they have great relationships on the pitch. And, you know, it's evident when you're near them, next to them, and you're seeing this over a period of days.
And the tours in the last 2 years have, I mean, especially the 1-2 seasons ago, just because we had so many of our new signings in early, which we haven't, you know, it wasn't a summer tournament year. These tours have propelled us to pretty good starts to the season. I mean, last season wasn't an awful start, even though the football wasn't as high flying as the season before, because Arteta was tinkering with a few things. You know, just it's a different kind of preseason as years past. And I think it helps the team. But yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, we're not winning these games 4-1, but we're also not like Chelsea losing games 4-1 during preseason and looking like, you know, completely out of sorts still. So
football is cyclical, and we went through many, many, many bad years, and, you know, there's so much to say and share, but let's just say that, you know, there are smart people in football that know that in the end, Abramovich ownership wasn't good for football. And, you know, I think hopefully a more level playing field will come at some point. And, you know, just there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that we just don't know about, guys, that, you know, that's why when people say to me sometimes, oh God, you know, overnight, she just became a star. You have no idea. It took 17 years to make Dallas Buyers Club. It takes years. You know, things don't happen overnight. Movies don't get made overnight. I have a script that, you know, I started developing 7 years ago. I mean, it's difficult. It's really difficult, especially in a competitive space. And it's really hard for us, but look what we're doing. We're attracting players like Calafiori.
Did you write me into the script? I mean,
I will now. Maybe I'll sell it. How's the magic of the mic? Right. We've been going for 1 hour and 19 minutes. And that is all we've got time for. I will keep updating you. Mike is going to get us some good stuff from Philly. So we'll keep you posted on the channel, on the community page. Look out for when our next show is going to be. Interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of us against Liverpool. And, you know, welcome again to Riccardo Calafiori. I'm just going to say it like that. By the way, Vinny and Vespa are very happy because they're Italian greyhounds. He's Italian, you know, all in the familia. And real quick before we go, you have an announcement, Mike, for something special that's happening in London at the end of August.
Yes, we teased it a week ago Monday from your backyard. It has been started to be tweeted about now, but for those of you who are in the motherland, in and around London, or I don't know, Stoke, or thereabouts, we are having an event the night before the Brighton game. So that's the 30th of August, Friday night, starting at 7 o'clock at the new and improved and reopened Drayton Park Pub, a place I've never been before, but I've always walked past it. I think it used to be the away pub, but not anymore. It's going to be an art fair, an art show, an art exhibition, and a place where you can purchase art from some of the best known, most talented Arsenal-related artists. And these are names that you'll know. We've got Ruth Beck, of course, the amazing Ruth Beck. Del Llewellyn, whose art is sold and promoted by the club. Absolutely amazing. North Banksy, who, I mean, if you don't know who North Banksy is, and if you haven't walked through and seen his art, you haven't been to the Emirates, which is okay. But North Banksy's something special. Charlie Shanks and Carl Bork, all five of them will be there. Their art will be available for purchase. Their art will be, in some cases, available for auction and or winning through raffle. It'll be available. They'll be available for commissions. So it's just to celebrate. I mean, because if there's one thing that I love the Highbury Squad for, it's for celebrating talented Gooners. And whether it's charities, which I appreciate, whether it's artwork, whether it's graphics, whether it's writing and blogs, you've always been a good champion for talented Gooners, and our artists are just something special. I don't see that from any other club. So those are all going to be in one place. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be a festive night. You do need tickets for that, but the tickets are ultimately free after you get your free beer and your raffle ticket. They cost £10 so that we can make sure we know who's coming. But follow Gooners v Cancer on Twitter and on Instagram. You can also follow any of the artists, Ruth Beck, Del Llewellyn, North Banksy. We're all going to be talking about it. You're going to be hearing about it on a lot of media over the next few weeks because we want as many people to come and participate in this as we can. So if you're around the last weekend of August, I hope to see you at Drayton Park on Friday the 30th for a
amazing
incredible event.
What we should do is get them on the show and promote and get them on. And I mean, I'm sure you have them on your channel. But.
Well, there's going to be the podathon coming on, so we'll discuss where and when and how the podathon will be aired. But it'll be obviously, as with every year, Sophie will be heavily involved in that if she agrees. But it's a busy. As soon as the tour is over, we go forward to the August fundraisers, and then I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break. But
for sure.
Thank you for your support, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be great.
Well, thank you for joining and popping in and sharing your side of the LA story. That would have been a better title, huh?
The LA story? LA Confidential.
LA Confidential. Damn, maybe I'll change the thumbnail.
If we do a show about the half-an-hour conversation we had, then that could be called LA Confidential.
Yeah, nope. So moving on. So if I change the thumbnail, look, if I change the thumbnail to Calafiori, we're talking 17,000 views.
Get it done.
No, but LA story, LA Confident, that would have been good. That would have been better. I'm usually good at this stuff. I've lost my game. I should just give up. Fuck it. Right. I can't believe I said the F word. Now I'm ruining my algorithm. I don't know.
I'm surrounding the ref right now.
Someone's got me raging.
Demanding
it's all good.
Yeah.
All right, listen, squaddies, thank you for joining. Share the show with everyone. Some great insights here. Lots to be excited about. And let's keep talking. We're going to share more stuff with you as the week goes. And Mike's going to get to see Calafiori. I think he'll play. I think he'll play.
I think he'll have what would they call it? A bow. He'll have a little run out, little maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Did you say a bow? As in a
bow.
Movement? Oh.
Take a bow, like
yeah, take a bow. Yeah, of course.
No, I've had enough of the other thing. We don't need to talk about the other thing.
All right. Well, welcome to Ricardo. Great to have him here. Talk about marketability factor. And 33, that's my roulette number, 3 and 33. I do love a 3, got to say. Love it. Thanks to everyone. And listen, don't forget to tell your loved ones you love them. You know the rules of the house. And I look forward to seeing you soon. I hope you've enjoyed the update, the debrief, and the insights that we've given you. Share it with your mates. Tell everyone about Highbury Squad. There's more good things to come. Until then, at ease, everyone, at ease.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. Please stand clear of the discussion doors. The next stop is Highbury Squad.
You gotta go to dinner. You're gonna go to dinner